haunted train station when suddenly they heard something growling. A group of co-workers of an underground train station were working as normal until one of them began to hear what sounded like growling coming from a hall. Now, when one of the workers gets closer, this happens. The growling reacts to him getting closer.
It fucking seen me and it fucking stopped. Do you not hear it? Stop.
Yeah.
Many people who work or worked there also claim experiencing unexplained events.
The thing that is scarier than this guy's mugshot is the crime that he committed. Hi, my name is Ethan, and trigger warning, this is a dark case. In Woodstock, Illinois, 2009, Kyle Morgan lured a homeless man into his apartment, promising him food, shelter, and something to drink. A few weeks go by and police were actually called to the apartment due to a foul odor. Nothing in this world could have prepared police for what they were about to see. They discovered the homeless man on the floor with 666 carved into his forehead, and with his blood was satanic symbols all over the walls of the apartment. Kyle was later caught in a different state. However, he was a fighter and he tried to outrun police, but in the midst of that, he actually hit 2 people with his car. He pled guilty but stated that he was mentally ill and received 30 years in prison.
The Rothschild conspiracy theory is an age-old myth that a single European Jewish banking family has the power to control world events. It has deep anti-Semitic roots. The anti-Semitic conspiracy theories surrounding the Rothschild family date all the way back to the Battle of Waterloo. They are rumored to have as many as 10,000 tons of gold. The Rothschilds supplied gold to the Duke of Wellington during the Napoleonic Wars, rescuing Wellington's armies from almost certain defeat between 1793 and 1815. Their creepy parties looked like bizarre satanic rituals. Collective net worth of $400 billion.
Why do celebrities have such nice skin, even when they're old as hell? I think I know the answer, and it's an answer that they want to keep very secret. They use, and multiple celebrities have been seen exposing it, but they know that people will think it's fake, which is why they say it. The truth is in front of our eyes. The best hiding spot is in plain sight. Check out these clips I compiled. The celebrities are saying it right in front of you, bro. And look at the hosts of the show. They're like, why are you exposing us, bro? You can just tell by the look on their face that they know, we know what's up.
Early 30s and you're late 50s. But somehow you both look the same age there. I mean, you know, there's something to be said for being with a younger man. I suck baby's blood. And put it on my face. Okay. Just joking, Hollywood.
I'm gonna drop a part 2 with another clip, but remember this quote.
Moi, c'est carrément mon genre.
You need to hear this dark theory about the film Finding Nemo. But if this film was your childhood, do not watch this video. So we all know the plot of Finding Nemo. Marlin, a clownfish, goes on search of his son Nemo with his friend Dory. Now we know Dory suffers with short-term memory loss. But what if I told you Nemo never actually existed? So at the start of the movie, a barracuda fish attacks and eats all Marlin's kids. Then we see Marlin find one last egg, and that is Nemo. But there's a theory that Nemo was never actually born, and this was all a part of Marlin's head to deal with the grief of losing his wife and his kids. And the reason why Dory never intervenes to help him realise this is because she keeps forgetting as well. Now there's a lot of theories as to why this might not be true, but it is pretty dark when you think about it. Especially because Nemo in Latin means no one, so the film is actually called Finding No One. What's the creepiest theory you've ever heard?
There's a theory. Did you know Barney was actually based on like a child?
Low-key fam, I had a feeling.
Check this out. Now this picture came out long time ago. This was way before Barney, feel me?
Yeah.
It's a picture of this.
Ew, man, that's creepy.
Listen. So it's a guy dressed in a Barney costume before Barney.
Yeah.
So it was just a dinosaur costume. Look at the face. Feel me? That's a guy dressed up in a dinosaur costume that would go to parks, playgrounds, and just like play with kids in this costume.
In that costume?
Yeah, in this costume.
What the fuck?
So somewhere along the line in the future, somebody made a show inspired by this person that used to just show up, play with kids.
Yeah.
And the theory is that this whole time he was actually like a child predator, fam. Like he got off of like playing with kids.
Oh nah.
And he's just wearing this big ass like costume.
Yeah. Yo, we have to find like if there's any like hints of that.
Interesting facts you never knew, part 7. Behind me in this photo is a steel door, and this is attached to a lighthouse. I'm sure that many of you guys know that the ocean can be extremely powerful, but the waves here were actually so powerful that they dented and bent the steel door. And for our second interesting fact, or rather place, there's this place from the 1920s called the Cabaret of Hell. As you can see, this is a very demon-like scene going on with a lot of really weird contorted faces in the walls, and this is what the door looks like. Pretty freaky, definitely would make a really good modern day horror house, but since then it has been demolished. Follow for part 8.
She was showing off a drink when she sees someone hiding in the curtains. Would you throw hands to...
Come to me. Mate, have you got anything on you that you shouldn't have?
No, there's no weapons or nothing.
Right.
Right, do you just want them to do your coat? Have you armed yourself?
Yeah.
You have?
Have you stabbed yourself, mate?
I can see blood on your hands.
Yeah. Anywhere else?
Just my chest, 4 inches in with a bread knife.
Can we have a look?
Yeah, and one on the stomach. I bled quite...
Right,
do you want to take... Yes.
Can we go down this
No, just stay there.
I just don't want to be in front of them.
Alright, just around the corner.
Just walking wounded at the minute.
Alright, stand here. Stay here.
Right,
So,
we told you, I know what's going to happen to you now, mate.
well, I know it's going to
We
happen
just-
when we go to prison, obviously, again.
Why, what have you done? Have you done something to anyone else?
Yeah,
What have you done?
I've murdered 4 people.
He's been calm and compliant, but he's got some stab wounds to his chest. They're not oozing blood, but he's saying that his family are inside and that he believes he has murdered them.
Do you want to go?
Are you alright for me to go in? Damien, it's 07:47 hours. I'm arresting you on suspicion of murder. You don't have to say anything, but it may harm your defence. Do not mention when questioned something later rely on in court. Anything you do say may be given in evidence. Your arrest is necessary to protect you from harm, to prevent your disappearance, for a prompt and effective investigation. Okay? I'm going to get you up, we're going to put you in the back of the van. Stand up.
I started this journey on my own, but it didn't take me long to meet you guys. And now I found a
I saw him sit down, so I just was telling him, like, this is so chaotic. This is crazy. All these helicopters and SWAT cars coming. Like, what do you think this could be? And I don't remember him saying much, but he was just head down, wasn't really talking to me. He asked me for a ride when I was like starting to leave the McDonald's to meet my mother on the other side. That's when started talking to me.
Okay. And what did you say?
He asked me for a ride. He was pretty insistent on it, and I said no. I wasn't really thinking much of it. I mean, I was just trying to get home. My sister wasn't answering her phone. I was nervous. I was panicked. I also had a bad gut feeling about it.
A DJ was closing the night when this happens.
This is genuinely scary.
Screams of terror heard coming from a woman off camera crying out for help. Hearing this late at night is unsettling, that even people walking nearby feel unsafe and flee. She kept waking up to strange noises at 4 a.m., and this is what she found. A couple began recording their recent hauntings after a horrifying encounter with a strange shadow figure. One night, while alone in the house, she begins to hear the same strange noises that had been haunting them.
Hola, gente. Otra vez el ruido ese. Todavía se escucha un ruido de abajo.
When she goes to check, what she finds is terrifying.
Ay, la con olor a árbol. Sora. Sora, subí. Ay, no, Dios santo. Nera.
She didn't notice, but what looks like hands can be seen waiting for her downstairs. Warning, be very careful if you're working one of these jobs. Christine, a 38-year-old mother of 4 living in Pittsburgh, was doing Uber on February 10th of 2022. 22-year-old Calvin Crew used his girlfriend's phone to order an Uber, which Christine accepted.
How are you today?
He uses a mask and hoodie to cover his face. He looks around to see if it's clear to make his move and pulls a gun on Christine.
What are you?
Alright, everybody sees me walking. I'm walking. Look. This plane isn't moving. It's not moving. But it sounds like it's moving.
If you've ever experienced deja vu, this could be the dark reason why. We need to talk about this. Okay, so deja vu occurs when something happens and it feels like you've lived that moment before. So what if you've literally lived it before in a different life? Well, the theory is that you've lived hundreds of thousands of different lives. Everyone knows that when you're dying, you see a huge bright light, the light at the end of the tunnel. Well, what if this light is actually you coming back into the world as a baby? And the reason that every single baby cries when they're born is because they just died in their previous life. And think about it, do you remember anything from when you were 1, 2, or 3? Probably not, and that's because all of your memories from your past life are being wiped, so you don't even remember anything from that current life. But it's said that some of those memories from your past life aren't fully erased. And thus, deja vu occurs when something that happens in your life right now reminds you of a past life that you've already lived. And that's why it feels so familiar yet so different. Let me know what y'all think, and as always, that is today's conspiracy.
Historic photos and their backstories. This photo was taken in 1962, and the astronaut to the left is John Glenn. This photo was taken right before he was the first American to orbit the Earth in space. Side note, pretty interesting the difference from these suits then versus now. And for our second photo, we have the classic Earthrise photo taken in 1968 on the moon. This was taken approximately 78 hours after Apollo 8 lifted off and became the first manned mission to orbit the moon. Follow for the next part.
Have you ever heard the dark theory about Teletubbies? According to Quotev, Teletubbies is actually based on the Asylum story, which took place in 1955. It is said to be the story of the kids in the Institute for the Mentally Disabled in Bulgaria, and the kids in the Institute were locked in dark and cold rooms. The kids were not looked after properly, and the caretakers used to forget to feed them. The 4 children were met with a horrific demise on the same day, and it is said that they are the 4 characters in the show. Now what do you think? Subscribe and follow for more.
Couple on stroll walk past cult meeting.
In a horrifying piece of CCTV footage, a man tries to abduct a barista through the drive-thru window. Washington State Police have released this clip that occurred on Monday at around 5 a.m. of a man in his car trying to pull the barista out of the drive-thru window into his car whilst he's holding a zip tie device. She's seen just handling cash before he literally lurches out of the window and grabs her wrist, and the other hand has a zip tie. Thankfully, she managed to escape before he just sped off. Despite the terrifying nature of the crime, thankfully, due to the publication of the CCTV, police received loads of tips and actually arrested a suspect on Tuesday morning. The giveaway for the alleged suspect was actually the tattoo, which spelled Chevrolet. Not a very common tattoo, but led to a lot of people phoning in and even giving a name. Thank goodness she managed to get away. That is not okay.
Today's case is one of these cases that you'll most likely recognise like the famous mugshot from. So this here is 18-year-old Shailene Moran. At the time of what she did, she was 18 years old, and this takes place in 2019. She was from a place called Pawtucket, which is in America, and in the fall of October 2019, she met a boy online who she started a relationship with. This boy was called Leonard Trowfield, and I couldn't find any photos of him for some reason. On the first day that they met in person, the pair stayed at Leonard's house. However, after day 4, the pair got into quite the argument, where Shailene had stormed out of the house and filed a police report against Leonard. And she had called assault, which Leonard absolutely denied was not true. The pair were then given a no-contact order. And the reason why I'm kind of leaning to believe Leonard is, I'll tell you why. So obviously when you're given a no-contact order, you cannot contact that person. But this didn't bother Shailene. She was sending death threats to absolutely all of his family, including his dog. So after the breakup, she then very quickly met Jack Doherty. And together they had conspired that they were going to kill Shailene's ex. And Jack was absolutely down for that. He was so ready to do it. They were sending each other texts like, if you do this, we'll be together forever, I love you, and all that. And at the end of December 2019, so we're literally talking 2 months later, Jack came down from New York to see Shailene. Not only this, he also brought an engagement ring with him, and the pair were ready to go to her ex's house to commit a shooting. So Shailene had actually stayed in a hotel nearby where the pair were staying. She didn't go with him, and they decided that they were just going to shoot whoever opened the door. So on January 1st, 2020, Jack Doherty went to the address of Leonard, and it was his mother, Cheryl Smith, that opened the door, and she was shot several times, which killed her. Another strange thing that I just want to know, I couldn't find many photos of Cheryl either. To which, after it took place, they then posted this on Facebook, which says, "We some fighters and some shooters." And she's also showing off her engagement ring in the post. Luckily, a detective that was responding to the shooting had saw this post that these two had posted. So literally just a couple hours later, they were arrested in the hotel room, which I just think is kind of funny, to be honest. Like, how stupid do you have to be? And the cops found the gun that was used in the shooting that matched the bullets found in Cheryl. Jack Doherty is still in prison awaiting trial, but because Shailene was really the mastermind behind it, she knew what she was doing. She was sentenced to life in prison for her part on killing Cheryl Smith.
Interesting facts you never knew, part 8. I'm sure that 99% of the people watching this know what the ship is. This is the Titanic. This is what we see in the movie, and that's how they portray it. However, this bottom one is much more accurate to what it would actually look like. Way darker, way more scary. The bottom one is just so much more unsettling. And for our second short fact, what do you guys think about this room? This looks like a beautiful room with a nice, well-lit open floor plan, lots of natural lighting. But would you be surprised if I told you that this is not actually a room? That photo is actually the inside of this guitar. Who knew that guitars could be so beautiful on the inside? Follow for part 9.
The dark